Hello sweet friends and welcome to the TheReBookery channel. I am Gina and I am going to work on my altered book that we tore the pages and glued the other day. So if you are new to my channel, I want to say welcome. I forget to do this a lot because I just assume that it's my same group that follows me, but if you are new, absolutely welcome. And we just hang out and do all kinds of crazy things using old books and ephemera, papers, just kind of treasures that would maybe make their way to the trash. We try to incorporate them into some meaningful art. So we are working on an altered book junk planner. This is my last altered book junk planner and it is complete, and so it is time. I'm actually behind a few days. It is time to actually make a new one so that I can get caught up on my gratitude journaling and the month of June. So if you did not see the last video was about us taking the book, tearing out the pages, and gluing them together. I had a really great question, and a lot of times I forget that I have learned a lot of things along the way and I just don't address those. So one of the great questions, I think a lady named Donna asked me in the comments, why do you glue the pages together? That's a great question, and I never addressed that. Here's why I glue the papers together. I glue the papers together because I like to have a nice thick page to do my journaling on, especially since I add so many things like stickers and fabric and stitching and layers and layers of paint and book pages and things like that. So I like to have a nice thick page. With this planner, as one of my favorite things is when it's finished. Now you can see this is a single page. I did not glue this page to anything, but look at this page. See how nice and thick it is? And there's just something about it that when you flip through the weight of that paper, it's almost like, it's not cardboard, but it's almost cardstock like. Sorry, let me get you into frame here. It's almost cardstock like, and it just seems to make the journal, I don't know, more substantial. I love it. Here's a journal that I did a couple of years ago, and on this journal I remember that I think I glued 3 pages together, and it is just the dreamiest thing to flip through because those pages are like, it's like a board, and it's just, there's something very comforting about it. It stands up to a lot of what I add. So like this piece right here is super thick, and I don't know, there's just something about it. So it's a personal choice. It's a personal, sorry, I am totally out of frame here, is just a personal thing. If this is not something you jam on, then you don't need to glue your pages together. But I love it, and I love the feel of it, and it just makes it, to me, feel more almost polished or professional. Yeah, I don't know, there's just something about it. The other reason why I glue pages together is because it gives the journal a little more integrity and a little more sturdiness, especially when you glue so that your center page is connected to the page behind it. It just kind of keeps the whole thing a little more put together. Now, another thing that I did not address in the last video, and I said I would, and I apologize that I didn't, is what do you do with the threads that maybe you broke a thread or they're really loose? Well, If they're loose, don't worry about it, because they're gonna tighten up as you go, and as you bulk this up, the pages will start to actually take up a little more space. So that slack in your threads is not gonna be a problem. But let's say you have a thread, let me see if I have one here, that you accidentally broke as you were tearing things out, and it's totally okay. And of course, I'm gonna find that I didn't do that on any of them, which is weird, because usually I do. So, all right, let's just go to this one right here. I don't know if there's one that's broken, but we'll just say that there's one broken right here. Okay, so let's say you have some threads that you broke. The way I fix it is I just take a little bit of glue, and I use Elmer's all-purpose glue, and I'll just run a little bit of glue right there and just kind of push the thread down into the gutter. And I then sometimes will go and kind of cover things up. So you'll see that here in just a second. But that's pretty much the loose threads. Anything that would be broken or loose, I take care of when I do this next step. And it's gonna be as simple as just taking glue. Okay, so here are the pages that I removed from this book yesterday. That's a lot of pages. Now these pages are not gonna go to waste, because the paper is still really, really good. Like, I can fold it and it's not brittle. I will be able to turn these into just some underpapers, just some papers I can play around with and put paint and stuff on. I could even turn them into journal pages. So I'm not gonna get rid of these. I will actually use these in my stash of papers that I use when I'm doing some journaling. So today my plan is to now take this and get the pages prepped. Now that I've gotten everything glued, and by the way, I ended up and came up with 30 pages. So I have 30 pages, and then that would be a front and a back, so times 2. So I have 60 surfaces plus this cover and this cover. So I'm gonna have 62 surfaces to journal on. This will hold me for quite a while. Now my last journal, I was able to go from January all the way up to the end of May. So that was quite a bit of journaling in that one book. And this journal will actually be like my daily journal. This is how I use it. Now you use yours however you want. It does not have to be a junk planner. This is just how I'm going to use mine. So what I want to do today is go through and just find, where do I need to do some reinforcements, and how am I going to get my pages prepped so that I can get started with my journaling. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to look at the gutters, and I'm going to look for any places that I feel like the thread maybe needs a little bit of attention, or if my spine is pulling apart from the book or anything like that. And so again, guys, this is very junky. This is not precise. I am not using anything fancy, because this is just the bottom layer. And so I'm gonna do some taping, and I'm not gonna use any special kind of tape. I'm just using some good masking tape here. And I'm not going to tape every one, but I am going to go through and I'm going to tape some of the gutters. And what that does is it just kind of reinforces it a little bit. And I can use washi tape if I want, but I know how I work in my journals, and I'm going to end up and totally paint over this and do all kinds of stuff all over this. So I'm just going to use regular old masking tape, but you can use decorative tape. You can use fabric. I've done that before. The last planner I actually did do some fabric, and after I did it, I was like, I kind of wished I hadn't done it. So I only did fabric at the very beginning, and you can see how my book is a little lopsided. That's because I wasn't consistent. So let me show you what I mean. This one was masking tape, but this one was fabric. And so you can see how that kind of doesn't lay perfect. And then the fabric then was too strong for this over here, if that makes any sense. Here was fabric again, and then this was masking tape. about right, let's see, here, there's one page where I put some fabric and I was like, okay, I'm done with the fabric. There it is. So right about the time I got to here, I was like, I think I'm done with fabric. I don't like how the pages are laying. I like them more with just the masking tape. And so I was kind of done with the fabric and I didn't do any more, which then kind of made my book a little wonky. So that's another tip, is whatever you decide to do, like with your binding, your spine, just kind of continue it throughout the book. Or if you do something in the front, kind of flip to the back and do the same thing in the back, so that it kind of will even out the weight of the book. Now, here is a spot where my end paper is pulling away from this, and the more I add to this, the more this is going to become a problem. So I am going to tape it, and again, I'm not worried about what this looks like now. Part of my style is that I'm just very just kind of junky and haphazard, and so I'm perfectly okay with it looking like this. I don't have to have things nice and perfectly lined up, but if that is your jam, then absolutely you do it that way. Okay, so there's a little reinforcement there. Just flipping through, seeing if there's any pages that I want to add, and I can always go back and add masking tape later during my journaling, and in fact a lot of times I do, especially as my journal gets fuller and fuller. I find that there are sometimes spreads that need a little reinforcement, and so I will then put some in. And I'm okay with the wrinkles, and so every once in a while I just pull it up and make sure that it's kind of evened out a little bit. That one looks good. So you could just go through and, I mean, this is just one of those things where it just kind of takes up time. It's just kind of fun to do. I'm going to do something a little different on this one. So I think what we'll do is I'll add some glue. And then I think I'll take some of this, it's deli paper, and I had it on my desk, and so it's got a bunch of ink and stuff on it. So I think I'll put this down the center and just kind of give a little bit of a different texture here. And then I can go through and add some glue. And we'll see what this is going to look like. You could do tissue paper. Like I said, you can do fabric. I've done lots of fabric before. Just want to be careful on your fabric that's not too thick, because then it will start to pull up on your spine and put a little too much pressure on your spine. All right. Totally just playing around here, no plan. Actually, the tape I want to use is upstairs. I need to go get it. All right. So this is some of my favorite tape to use. I call it Strand Tape. I don't know what its actual name is, but I like it because it's got these little fibers, and I don't know, just kind of adds a little extra interest. And so it's not a tape that you can tear. I always have to use my scissors. And I think I'll just go horizontally with this. And again, this is just, some of it's decorative, some of it's just playing around, some of it's just kind of reinforcing the spine a little bit. And this is something that you can do as you go throughout your journal. It does not have to be done all at the very beginning, because that's kind of how I use my journal, is I only get it so ready. Like I'm not gonna finish it today. I'm just gonna get it started. Just enough that I can get going. Okay, so I'm good. I can always go back and add more tape if I want to. So, all right, that's one of the things, is I wanted to work on the spine. And yes, you could do every single gutter if you wanted to. Just, again, know that the more bulk you put here, the more it's going to pull on your spine. So it's okay just knowing that you're going to have some more pressure on that spine, okay? Which is not a big deal. Okay, so now I want to work on the actual pages. So my pages in my book are a matte finish, and it's this kind of eggshell color. It's kind of a, you know, off-white, not totally white. And I like the font, and I love this, and I want this to show through. But I also want to add just a bottom layer of just some color, okay? Nothing major, and I'll probably paint all over it. It's totally okay. I'm fine with that. So a couple of things I like to do is I like to just play around with the pages. I'm going to use just some different materials, and again, you do not have to do any of this. You do not have to do all of this. You can pick and choose what works for you. But okay, so you can do something like just kind of make some marks. Okay, so this is just a pencil, and I'm just kind of making marks. No thought here, just kind of letting my pencil do its thing. Okay, and you may not want to do this, and that's totally all right. Okay, another thing I can do is I can take some chalk pastels. Now I know there's been a lot of people using chalk pastels on the internet here lately, and I think it is awesome because I love seeing all the different ways to use these. I've always used chalk pastels like as the bottom layer, and I just kind of, you know, didn't really spend too much time figuring out what's the best way to use them. I just kind of used them as to how they worked for me, and that was just to kind of give a little bit of a tint to the back paper, or to the background paper. But there's lots of good tutorials. Robin Marie Smith, if you have not watched her, she has been doing some amazing things with chalk pastels. She uses water and things like that. So there's all kinds of different ways you can use these. My chalk pastels are not top of the line. In fact, these are ones I've inherited from my daughter when she was in art school, and they are probably, a lot of them are just some cheapies that, you know, I got at Michael's or something. I will say there is one really good one in here. This one is a Schminke. It's like SCHMINKE. I don't know, and I don't know how she got this, but she left all her art supplies to me, and so I have become the owner of this. Now this pastel is butter. It is amazing. There is such a huge difference between this one and then these other ones. Now if I was a chalk pastel artist, professional artist, I would probably make sure I have the top quality. But here's the thing, I'm not. And these little guys that I have, they do the trick, okay? I'm totally okay with the results I get because I'm just playing. If I was really serious about this, I would spend the money and I would get some better quality ones, because there is a huge difference. But for me, I'm just playing. I don't really care. It's all good. I'm probably going to cover it up anyway. So yeah, no big deal. No big deal. And so I'm just going to play around, add some color. Again, not really thinking, just I'm kind of breaking in my journal. I'm kind of putting in some color so I can get some inspiration when I open this up. Excuse me. Look at that. See how it just, woohoo, is just unreal. Now, I sometimes will spread my chalk pastels out. Man, I got a frog in my throat. Sometimes I just leave them like they are, which is totally okay. Let's see. We can add some water to them if you like that effect. Okay. So you just play around, and I'm not trying to cover up the back. I'm just adding some little pops of color. And you could spend all day doing this if you wanted, or you could just totally skip this step. Okay, so what if I have some water and I want to get rid of the water? I don't want it to be soaked. So you can take one of your pages that you pulled from the book and use it to mop up some of your color. And now you've already got some color on this page. All right, black scares me, always has scared me. Because I feel like black is so hard to undo. If you make a mistake, it's so hard to undo. So I'm really been trying to use a lot more black. And this can be an entire, I know I'm going really fast on this, but guys, let this be an entire day of play. This could be so fun. Just sit down and just play on all these pages and just see what you can come up with. I mean, this, even though I'm technically not producing anything in this journal, this is part of the journal. This is part of this journal's journey, is prepping these pages, just like gluing those pages yesterday, ripping them out and gluing them. That was very, very therapeutic. And you don't have to hurry through it. Let this be what it is. It's play. And so that's sometimes for me when I do videos, that's where I struggle, because in order for me to really get into my creativity and channel, you know, all this creative craziness I have going on in my head, I need to be in the zone, and the zone doesn't require a camera. And that's why a lot of people will see something I post on Instagram and they're like, did you do a video on that? I hate to tell you guys this, but some of my best work I do not on camera. And it's because I'm not on camera. It's because I'm not thinking about talking. I'm not thinking about hurrying up so that you guys don't get bored. It's just, yeah. So I'm not going to do a lot of this because I'm going to wait until I'm off camera. And I'll go back and I'll do a lot of my pages and take my time and be really mindful I don't have to be persnickety about where things go, and I don't have to be a perfectionist, but just be mindful of just the process, because this is, to me, this is the whole point of having an art journal or a junk journal, is just this process right here. Playing around with the paper and the color and just seeing what you can create. Okay, so that's one way you could do backgrounds. You could use chalk pastel. Another way you could add some color to the background is to use ink. So I'm going to pull out, this is a piece of plastic. I think this was a like a divider for some scrapbook paper. And so I'm going to, I think I'm just going to take, let's just take some spray ink, okay? Put some drops down. And just totally mixing up whatever colors are speaking to you. I'm just grabbing whatever I have. All right, and then I'm going to take some water. And maybe I'll do, this is just a water-soluble crayon. I also have, so this is a water-soluble crayon. And then this is a water-soluble oil pastel. Okay, so I'm just adding some color. I'm going to add some water. And then I'm just going to take my paper and smush it down. And I really like this process, because look at that. It's just, yeah. And it's just kind of ethereal. Like it's not heavy. I don't see lines or marks. I just see the end process, which is just that cool color. So let's take another. Okay. Just little dabs of color. Now let's see. Okay, so I have these things. I got these at Christmas. They're Lumiere's metallic acrylic ink, I think, or paint maybe. I don't know. We'll put some down, see what happens. Okay, add some drops. Here's another one. This is called Liquid Metals, Ken Oliver Crafts. So let's add some of that. Ooh, saucy. Okay. And then, ooh, let's add some more blue. Oh, I love blue and orange. Blue and orange. And then check out that purple. I really like that purple. Let's add a little more purple. All right, add some water. And that little oil pastel, or water-soluble oil pastels, not, kind of have to mush it around with your fingers a little bit. All right, let's see. Ooh. Okay, this is going to be cool. Let's see what happens here. Ooh, yeah. Oh, yeah, look at that. I like it. And then I can take my paintbrush, add some more marks. Okay, let's find, take this one. So this one I already had that chalk pastel on there. Let's add some of this. Ooh, I love it. Want some more blue. And let's do a little orange. Let's see. I don't know what this is. Pink. Do a little bit of a pour. Oop, whoops. Whoops. Okay. Spray it down, see what's going to happen. Oh yeah, look at that. Okay. That's cool. Oh, I really like that. And so all I'm doing here, guys, is I'm just adding a little bit of color, shade, to my pages, okay? And then you can also take your extra pages and boom, there you go. This one's ready. And that's ready. You can put this in a journal. And nothing goes to waste. Okay, so let's try something else. And I'm okay, there's stuff on here, it's no big deal. I can mop it up with this paper if I want. Okay, so let's take and let's add these. Do you have ink pads? Okay, so let's just kind of stamp those up. Now these are going to be your water soluble ones, okay? So these are not going to be your permanent archivals. Let's just add a scotch of blue. And then, so this one is Brilliance. It's got some shimmer to it. So we'll add that. See what this does. And now I'm going to spray. Okay. And let's see what happens. Ooh, look at that. Oh my God, look at that rainbow. Jiminy crickets, that's awesome. Oh my gosh, love it. Let's go to this one. So this would be an afternoon of play for me. Just doing this, making different colors and color combinations. And now this page, to me, this is so ready to be journaled on. It's begging to be journaled on. Yeah, love it, love it, love it, love it. And again, this is just the background. Okay, I'm just adding a layer to my journal. This is not the finished product. This is such a light purple, I don't even know. And I guess it shows up a little bit. All right, let's see if we can get a little pink in there. Probably need to activate it. There we go. Get it smushy. Oh, yes, look at that. Now, let me show you. You're going to see my pages are starting to get wet and they're starting to wrinkle. I'm okay with that because you're taking this paper, because remember we glued, but it's still just paper. You're taking this paper and you're wetting it down. So there's going to be some warping and some wrinkling. So I'm okay with it. It does not bother me, but if it bothers you, you just slow down, let it dry in between. You can use a heat tool if you want. You can use a brayer. You can set it in the sun. You can put a weight on it if you want. I'm okay with it. I kind of thinned out that little piece right there, but other than that, I'm fine with wrinkles and things like that. And you can get stuff on the cover of your journal, and that's fine too. I'll just use some of my book paper. To mop it up. Okay. All right, let's do some blue. find something else here. What's another good color we can use? Oh, here's a turquoise. Oh, hello. Yep. We're gonna have some serious color there. All right, let's lighten that up a bit. I've got some white. Okay. And I'm going to take kind of smush. Whoa, look at that. Ah, that's awesome. Oh my gosh. I may just take my brush and... Oh yeah, look at that. With that yellow. Oh, that's awesome. Which makes me think I need some yellow in here. So I'm going to take... And I don't think I want that. Oh, let's see what this is. All right, I don't know what this is, but will you? Oh, hello, look at that. Ah! Okay, that's cool. I gotta quick grab it. I'm gonna grab that paint. Yes! That is amazing. Oh my golly. Okay. Yeah, this is good stuff, people. This is good stuff. And I'm getting it on camera, which is even better. Yeah. All right. Look at that. So I could spend like an entire day, entire afternoon just going through and adding things, adding color to my paper. So let's see what we did here. All right, we did chalk pastels. We did the inks. We did ink pads. You could do watercolor. Love using watercolor. You could do acrylic. Here's my thoughts on this. I want this to be translucent. I want the page to still come through. I want the text to still come through. So that's why I'm using all of these light materials. If you wanted to use acrylic, you could, but you're gonna have, it's gonna be more opaque, and it's not going to be as light as this. Now you can water it down if you want, but you honestly, guys, you can do whatever you want. This is your journal. This is so your journal. So you can do whatever you want to add color to the pages. Maybe you just wanted to stick with the chalk pastels. Totally okay. Oh yeah, look at that. So you could spend an entire day just adding to the fun. I know I keep saying that, but that's because I'm playing and I can't stop playing. All right. Okay, kiddos. So here's what I'm going to stop for here because I'm just having so much fun here. So here's what I want you to do today is take your journal and go and do some reinforcing if you want. Add some glue, add some tape, and then add some color if you want. Add some color to your background pages, and it can be lines, it can be crayon marks, colored pencils, watercolor, ink, pastels, whatever your heart desires. Just add a little splash of something to your background papers, okay? And don't worry, it does not have to be perfect because we're not, this is just one layer. That's all this is just one layer. And we have so many more layers to go. Okay? And have fun with this. Have fun with this and play. And remember, there are no ways to make a mistake on this, okay? All right, my friends, I hope you are healthy. I hope you are happy. Oh, I forgot to tell you, I reopened my Etsy shop. I know I had said I was going to try to steer clear of Etsy, and I was going to try to put all my stuff on my Ko-fi site. Well, Ko-fi isn't ready to handle the bulk of like materials and goods that I want to sell. So I'm just going to go back to Etsy because I had some requests for some of my wrapping paper packages, and I also had a lot of books that I want to list on Etsy, and they are vintage readers. And I'm going to, in the next couple of videos with our junk planner, I will show you our altered book. I won't call it a junk planner anymore. I'll call it an altered book. With our altered book journal, I'll show you how I am using the vintage readers. So I have a ton of those, and I've been trying to get them listed on Etsy. So check out my Etsy site if you haven't. In a while. There's a lot of my good old stuff that I've had, but there's also some new stuff. And if you are an international customer, I know it says it's not shipping internationally, but if there's something that you see, if you message me through Etsy, we can work something out. Also check out my Ko-fi site because I'm constantly adding little tidbits and snippets of just things that come to my mind and I want to share with you guys, but you know, it's a little bit bigger than an Instagram post, but it's not enough for a full-on video. So check out my Ko-fi site, and until next time, when we do, and we're going to do the edges the next time. Until next time, I hope you're healthy, I hope you're happy, and I hope you do something creative today. Have fun with this, guys. Bye.